Hello, Hitting the Field family, and welcome back to another episode of Main Show. I'm your host, Dominic Moller. We have a few fun segments for you this show. First, we're going to be talking about the divisional round of the NFL playoffs and a knockout segment of UFC 283. So don't miss anything and stick around because Hitting the Field starts right now.
Things gon' change when I really hit the field. Undefeated chance, man, you know what's the deal. Tryna find a kid, I'm in the field doing drills. Boy, you just a sucker, you ain't never keep it real. 3 rings in my hand, I'm a warrior to the max. When I hang it up, they gon' have to give me plaques. Step up in the building and I only bring the facts. When I make a highlight, they gon' replay, run it back. Okay, always locked in, I don't got time to lax. Saying he the best, he could take a lap. Batted 1,000 when you check the stats. Boy, is you ready? You ain't gotta ask.
Welcome back. As you can see, I'm joined by a few extra guests here today. First time on Main Show with me, Jack Hanzal and Kiersten Blaylock. Welcome, guys. First off, how was the playoffs for you guys? What'd you think of them so far through the weekend?
I mean, I'll be honest, it was a playoff game, and playoff games, I feel like are supposed to be interesting. I was a little bored.
Ooh, every NFL diehard suddenly just sunk into their seat. Jack, on to you. What'd you think of it? Hot take master over here. What?
The games, they were up and down, but I was told by Isaiah I am a prophet, and just like a prophet, I got all my predictions right on this weekend as well, so I expect to keep going on and on, so just listen to me a little bit.
You picked the Bills to lose somehow. I don't know how you would have thought the Bengals would beat the Bills.
Let's get into it.
Last time, I have to say this as a preference. Most of the teams I picked to be in the Super Bowl are not going to be there, and I was very wrong. I'm just going to do this as a PSA. Bills, I thought were going to win it, and obviously they lost. I thought the Buccaneers were going to make it somehow, and I was sadly wrong as they got beaten by the trash Cowboys. So just wanted to put that out there that, no, I'm not the prophet here, and yes, I was wrong. So going over to you, Jack. First off, the first game we're going to talk about is the Jaguars and the Chiefs. Mahomes goes down. Chad Henney comes in and shows that anything is possible. And the Jags, young team, but they continue to push on. What is the future looking like, and what do you think of the game?
First off, I want to say I do want some credit for the line that I gave you, but it's okay. It's okay. I did say that, but that's fine. When it comes to the Jaguars, their offense is elite. Trevor Lawrence is a top 5 quarterback, debatably. And then you add a player like Calvin Ridley into the equation next year.
Wow, yeah.
They did last of all offseason, they rebuilt the offense, got Christian Kirk, got all these guys. ETN came back. So now it's a 2-year rebuild. So now you go down, rebuild the defense, and once they get that defense to a respectable top 12, top 10 range, with a guy like Trevor Lawrence who got playoff experience, you can go really far next year.
Yeah, and you can see on the screen, Mahomes' injury, going to save a little bit for the top 5. That leg was a completely – it's tough. When you get those injuries like that, it's tough to bounce back from it. And you know what? He did. So you can't really hate the guy. He's tough. And I'm not going to spoil my top 5 segment because I have a throw by Mahomes that he shows he only needs one leg to be successful. Kiersten,
So true.
going over to you. I know you're a big Trevor Lawrence fan.
This was my favorite game. I was really
okay.
hoping that the Jags were going to come back at the fourth quarter and, take it. They didn't. They folded. I was a little upset over it. The very last kick, like the punt to return it, was just, that's when I was like, all right, this is it.
Yeah, the icing on the cake.
Oh, yeah. That
It-
whole fourth
tough.
quarter, I was like waiting for it to just like be done.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people forget that Ridley is coming back for the Jags. So
Yeah.
bright future there in Duval. Now going over to, I know, Jack's favorite game of the weekend, the Giants against the Eagles. A little preference, Jack is a huge Vikings fan. So, as you know, Giants, gritty emoji. Giants destroyed. I'm going to say destroy. Yeah, I'm going to say it. Because the way the Giants played against the Eagles shows that the Vikings defensive coordinator needs to just take a break entirely.
We did fire him already, so we did.
That's what I'm saying. He needs a break from football.
When he was just on his couch, drinking nice lemonade, I really wonder what he was thinking about watching Daniel Jones be back to Daniel Jones. And I do want to point out, for anyone in the media here, whatever, that actually thought Daniel Jones was a good quarterback because he played well against the Vikings twice, delusional. He's not good. He does not deserve an extension, and he showed it again. Not even 200 yards. The Giants were not good. The Vikings were just somehow even worse on defense.
And, Kiersten, what do you think about the Eagles? Because they performed pretty comfortably with it. So what does that tell you? I
picked the Giants.
Oh!
And I was very wrong in that pick. I was just hoping that we were going to have an underdog story. I was banking on the fact that the Giants, they beat the Vikings and they were going to come out and just do it, even though the Eagles were very clearly the correct pick.
And I will say you're picking a lot of underdogs this weekend. The Jags and the Giants.
I just love underdogs. I don't know. Something about an underdog story that I'm like, all right, I'll take it.
Oh, that's fair. I honestly did not think the Eagles would be this good. I am very surprised with them. And, over here, Luca Costa over here is just, kind of giving me a little bit of an earful. I just didn't think they were that good, But Boston Scott played amazing. Jalen Hurts is him, and he continues to be him. And I think a lot of people don't give him enough credit. I know I did the same thing a couple shows ago on a way different show. It was actually on Bets, my first Bets appearance. I said that Jalen Hurts wasn't even a top 5 quarterback in the league, and you should not put him on fantasy. And wow, I was sadly mistaken.
He's still not a top 5 quarterback.
I do.
Oh, wow.
He's still not a top 5 quarterback. I'm sorry, there's no way.
Well, Luca Costa in the studio is going wild.
I want to talk really quick about Boston Scott because he has set a record. He's a running back that has the most touchdowns against a single team, that team being the Giants.
Oh.
When I was watching the game, they were making a joke about how he's 5'6", but he's the Giant Slayer.
Yeah.
He's got 10 touchdowns against that team, and that's just against the Giants in his whole career. And that's the most a running back has.
Yeah, and I mean, going on to, the big upset of the weekend for me was the Bengals and the Bills. Joe Burrow proves that he's him. Joe Burrow in the snow decides to get into his element and beats the Bills in the snow. And I got to say, Josh Allen very much underperformed. I'm sad, but, what can you say? Wow, you're not surprised? Josh Allen
I'm not surprised either.
Yeah.
What are you guys saying right now?
Why would you be surprised? Josh Allen has played 8 playoff games. 4 of them have been absolute train wrecks where he fumbles, throws interceptions, and not been good.
Yeah.
He's had 3 good playoff games and 1 mediocre one. Don't remember, in his first playoff game against the Texans, he single-handedly lost in the game because he wants to do a lateral play for no reason. It looked like what the Patriots did this season against the Raiders. That's what he tried to do, and he turned it over. He's a turnover machine, and this game, he only turned over when the game was already over, but they go 3 and out. He's wildly inconsistent, and he's just not that good.
Wow,
Or
that's a hot
top 5.
That's a hot take for the Bengals and the Bills. I'm not going to touch too much on them because I am going to talk more about them next week when it's Bengals and Chiefs, give that a little bit more of that preview. But now going to the Cowboys and 49ers, if you're a Dak Prescott fan, wake up because he is not good. He's not that good. Kiersten, what did you think about the Cowboys, and does this show how good the 49ers are or just more of how the Cowboys suck?
I mean, more of how the Cowboys suck, I feel. Cowboys fans are quite literally not happy right now.
Yeah, that's an understatement. I think there was a video going viral or something about a Cowboys fan literally punching through his TV or something.
Yeah.
Talk about a surprise. The Cowboys lose a close, clutch game. I mean, it's a no-brainer. I think we could all see that. 49ers are playing exceptional. Doesn't matter. They have Mr. Irrelevant. It does not matter. Now we're going to move on to actually the AFC Championship and the NFC Championship, a little preview of it. Let's pull up the bracket graphic if we can, please. And we're going to, give a little preview on what to look at. First off, Bengals Chiefs. Bengals have the Chiefs number, and that's scary. So, Jack, who do you think wins it, Bengals or Chiefs? Here's a hot take. Let's see if he's right. Profit. Take it
So
away.
the smart money would be on the Bengals just because Patrick Mahomes does have a high ankle sprain, but you are not going to beat Patrick Mahomes twice in one season. And the Chiefs will come out, pull through. I don't know how yet, to be honest, but it's Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid. That's a combination that would not lose twice to a team in one season. So I got the Chiefs.
Wow. And now over to you, Kiersten.
I'm
Who do
gonna
you think?
take the Bengals. After taking like the picks that I shouldn't have taken this weekend, I'm gonna play it safe, and the Bengals, I feel like they could take it.
If Joe Burrow
In
does
Arrowhead.
it, you guys better give some Joe Burrow respect because I heard a lot of slander through the regular season about him. Now, Eagles 49ers, just quickly, I think that's more of a nitty-gritty game. Not going to be as fun. It's just going to be very close, NFC battle.
I agree. I got Brock Purdy going to the Super Bowl. Hot take, just because we're talking about Jalen Hurts, if Brock Purdy wins in Philly, he is the best quarterback in the NFC already. That guy is really good.
Oh
And
my
that's
gosh.
the take I'm saying.
Wow,
Yes.
Kirsten.
Name one better.
I mean,
Eagles
I'm
or
just gonna go on
49ers?
the other side of Jack, and I'm gonna take the Eagles.
All right. oh for
I got
two.
the Eagles too. I think Hurts is playing too good to be stopped. And I love Brock Purdy. I love the story, but I'll be surprised by it. Now, when we return, we'll be talking UFC 283, and I'm going to be joined by a few extra guests who are talented in knowing their UFC logic. So please stick around, because Hitting the Field will be right back.
HCF Hot Takes. I'm Johnny Jackson. We've got Emily Aaron to my right and Maluka Costa to my left.
Hello and welcome to our segment of Hot Ones. I'm here with Noah Kemper and Grant
Wheeler.
Yep, I knew that. Grant Wheeler.
Listen, I'm a Bulls fan, but I just can't ever argue against LeBron. I watched him my whole life.
I've been going back and forth with this debate for a long time. It's got to be Michael Jordan.
Whatever she wanted. I would wake up in a maid costume for Doja Cat.
Brutal.
Jeffrey Laux, no question.
Richie, I would give it to Richie.
It is not Richie. It is not Richie.
No, it's Jeff.
Richie's pronouns are he, they, because he cannot be him.
What?
Oh, where is that?
I'm gonna have to also agree and say Jeff. He always is spiffy.
It might be Cameron. Cameron's had some good fits.
Out of the women, Norelli always dresses really, really cute.
Brother. That went so awful.
It's basketball.
College football, I think, is the best sport to watch. If you don't like soccer, it's because you suck at it.
I think college football is the best.
Thanks for watching.
Welcome back, and as you can see, I didn't get the memo that it was going to be Black Blazer Day. I'm wearing an 81. I'm joined by Ezrah Hines and Nate Marrero. Welcome, guys. First time on main show. Did I say your last name correct?
It's Marrero, but I'll let it pass.
We'll let it slide. I've actually talked UFC with both of you on the Combine, so shout out Cameron there. But it's time. I wanted to bring it in. Let's wheel it in. UFC 283. First fight that we're going to talk about on the card is Paul Craig versus Johnny Walker. And first, I got to know each of these fights. We're going to want to know your prediction and if it was correct or wrong.
Oh God,
So,
that kind of I'm gonna feel
Ezrah,
like an idiot.
Who did you have winning, Paul Craig or Johnny Walker?
Shout out Cameron Forcier. He already knows what I'm going to say. I hate Paul Craig.
Oh.
He is a terrible fighter, so I had Johnny Walker winning this very easily. Paul Craig, literally, I expected him to lay on the ground for 15 minutes and hope and pray that Johnny Walker follows him down there. But nope, Johnny Walker decided not to let that happen at all and just knock him out. So I love to see it.
No, Johnny Walker put him on the ground, and I thought I picked Paul Craig because Johnny Walker's been so erratic. He's been up
That's
and
true,
down,
yeah.
and
Paul
I thought
Craig
he would
has been erratic
make a
too.
mistake that would end up find his way to the ground with Paul Craig, and you don't want to be there. Like Jamal Hill, we'll talk about him later. His only loss is because Craig literally dislocated his elbow. Like he's nasty on the ground, but Craig caught his leg, and then a few punches later, and it was a wrap. We'll see what it means for Johnny Walker in the future. He's starting to put things together.
Yeah,
Shout out the low battery signal on the computer. I had Paul Craig just because I agree. Johnny Walker is so sporadic, and I was very wrong. I had a rough weekend of predictions.
Yeah,
and,
no.
Paul Craig is also sporadic, so I'm very shocked that y'all
I just
picked
didn't.
him.
I wasn't a big Johnny Walker guy. I like Johnny Walker. I just thought he was like Nate said. I just think he's so sporadic.
Paul Craig's unranked for a reason.
I mean, he was ranked 12th going into the fight, so
Next fight we're gonna talk about is the women's fight. Women's
my goodness.
flyweight.
That
Lauren Murphy versus Jessica Andrade.
Oh man.
that was a beatdown.
Ezra, Who did you have winning the fight, and were you right or wrong?
I had Andrade winning this fight,
Yes,
but not
yep.
in the fashion how I thought she
Wow.
would do it.
Yeah.
Laura Murphy was basically a punching bag for 15 minutes.
Yep.
She didn't fight back. When she tried to shoot on Jessica Andrade, she didn't even do it correctly. She looked way far off. Like, it was ugly. That entire fight was hideous for her. Like, I know there's like hometown hero type of thing because obviously Andrade's fighting in Brazil, but oh my God, that was probably one of the most one-sided fights I've seen in a while.
Just judging by the strikes, it was tough to watch. You
Yeah,
know?
no.
Did you get this one right too?
Yes,
Or-
I've got this one
I
right.
feel like this is the easiest one to predict.
It was. I mean, Andrade was too quick. She's actually the only female fighter to win in 3 different weight classes. I think 125. She's really quick, especially compared to Murphy. I mean, she just pieced her up. They should have stopped it after the
She
second
landed
round.
231 significant strikes.
That's
yeah,
crazy.
That's not good for your brain.
That's
in
actually
3
crazy.
rounds.
Yeah.
3 rounds.
It's a punching bag for.
Andrade was just her technical boxing is just way above. I don't know. I'm gonna say I think she's above anybody in that division right now for technical
Well,
boxing.
125.
very
Valentina
good.
Shevchenko is really good.
Yeah.
I'm not a big Shevchenko guy.
I
And
love
I
Shevchenko.
think she's just getting as age is growing on, I think she's losing that extra kind of speed towards it.
She is starting to get
Yeah,
exposed a little bit.
Yeah.
That Tyler Santos fight really kind
Yeah.
of showed her
And that's what
dark
I'm
side.
saying, yeah. And we'll see. We'll see how that division kind of shakes up. I definitely think Andrade's performance definitely catapults her into the top of the rankings.
For sure.
But now we're going to talk about a performance. Gilbert Burns versus Neil Magny. I mean, if you weren't a big Gilbert Burns fan, wow. He gave a master class on just what level he's at. He's way above anybody else. And this is a pretty easy fight I had Burns winning it no matter what.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
That was the easiest bet
No,
of the night.
Neil Magny was kind of tailor-made for Gilbert Burns. We've seen him struggle against strong grapplers in the past, and that was the clearest path to victory for Burns. And sure enough, as soon as he got him on the ground, he got him in the arm triangle, and that was it.
I mean, the opponent resume of Gilbert Burns to face a guy like Neil Magny, who's an aged kind of veteran fighter.
He still has tough tests.
Yeah,
but-
it's a
Yeah,
tough
but not for
test.
Gilbert Burns. who's
Yeah.
ranked
Yeah,
fifth.
no, but I mean, styles make fights, so this was a stylistic nightmare for Neil Magny.
And that's the big thing I think with the UFC that we're kind of seeing now is the ground game is so underappreciated. And Burns showed that. He submits him in the first round like that. And
Yeah.
it was
It was
kind of
one takedown.
Yeah.
Literally one takedown, one submission attempt, done. It was like, it was uncompetitive.
if you went to get a glass of water, the fight was over.
Yeah.
And you were like, what just happened? Like, come on.
It was exactly as expected, honestly.
Yeah.
And I have to say, we're moving on to the next fight, and I'm going to call this a disappointment. And I am going to call it a big disappointment because a doctor stoppage, no one likes that.
No.
I mean, protecting the fighters is big,
Of course,
but
yeah.
as a fan and as a viewer, you hate to see that, especially when it's
Yeah.
Davis and Figueiredo versus Brandon Moreno. Their trilogy, their 4 fights, I think they're going to have a 5th fight.
They're going to absolutely have a fifth
I
fight.
could be
don't know,
wrong.
man.
Absolutely.
I could be wrong, but especially with the doctor stoppage, I think the 5th fight is bound to happen. But
It's 2-2 now, so they have to have a fifth
yeah,
fight.
Moreno takes it by doctor stoppage. If you haven't seen the fight, Figueiredo loses in his hometown of Brazil,
Yeah.
and it's tough. Did you guys have Moreno winning, or did you
I
think
thought
Figueiredo
Figueiredo
had
would
it?
be able to get, because Moreno was dealing with a lot of turmoil. He had to switch camps, and literally in the middle of it, because James Krause got caught in this betting scheme. He's probably going to end up in jail. Allegedly, betting scheme. Let me not get us in trouble. But yeah, no, he had to switch camps. He had to go. He went to Saif Saud, who's a really good coach. I just thought, the bouncing back and forth, switching camps. I thought it was going to be a problem for him, but he was on fire. He came out. He silenced the crowd quickly. He just took control from round 1 and up until he closed his right eye, and that was it.
Yeah, and Ezra, over to you, man. Brandon Moreno.
I had Brandon Moreno winning this fight.
Really?
Yes,
Okay.
I did. And so in the actual fight itself, the commentators said it best. Figgy looked really slow. And I
Yeah.
think that's just down to a really bad weight cut, which
Yeah.
is why at the end of the fight, Figgy announced he's going to be moving up to 135. But funny enough, I think Brandon Moreno wins the next couple fights at 125, and I think he follows Figgy. There has to be
Ooh,
a fifth
that's
fight.
a hot take.
There has to be a 5th fight. I mean, it's 2-2. There has to be.
Yeah, and I will say, Figueiredo's weight cut if you haven't seen the weigh-in pictures of him,
He's about as thick as a piece of cardboard.
Yeah, it's sad. It's kind of sad to see. He looks like a
he looks like a homeless dog on the side of the road.
It's sad.
No, yeah, he has to go up to 135. There's no it's not good for you. And you see it in his performance, like he's super slow, and it's just
I just don't know who he beats at 135
it's
either.
It's gonna be tough. Yeah.
Yeah, and that shows that Marrero is kind of that guy. He's able to battle through everything, and I think Marrero's gonna dominate that division for a while.
Well, he's gonna fight Pantoja next, I believe. Pantoja's already beaten him twice.
Oh,
in UFC.
That
we'll see. That's gonna be
that's gonna be a good fight.
That's gonna be
a great fight.
I mean, I think Moreno's. It was I forget how long it's been since they fought. I think he got cut from UFC, then went back, and then
he did.
So if it was, we'll see. It's gonna be a good fight when they meet up.
And the main event, Glover Teixeira versus Jamal Hill.
No.
Wow. I'm going to say it now. I think this is one of the most surprising UFC fights I've seen in a while.
Yeah.
Obviously, in my opinion, this is one of the biggest upsets, like domination-wise, besides Leon Edwards knocking out Kamaru Usman. I still think that's the biggest upset in UFC history.
Oh,
and the biggest shock.
It's up there.
But Glover, the seasoned veteran who looked unstoppable against Jamal Hill, who has 12, I think, is it 13 or 12?
He has 14 fights now.
14?
Yeah.
14 fights versus a guy who has over triple his amount. That is crazy. Jamal Hill beats the odds, and I think it kind of echoes what his fight was like. And if you could see, we don't have it, but if you could see the video of him last round in the corner, getting the Gatorade, the red Gatorade poured on him, and just staring intensely into the camera.
Yeah.
It just showed that he was in a different mode that night.
Yeah.
No,
you knew you knew how the fight was going to be won for either guy. Like Jamal Hill was going to have to keep it on the feet, and if Glover Teixeira was going to win, he's going to have to take him down. And Jamal Hill's takedown defense was kind of So that's why a lot of people thought Teixeira would win, and Jamal Hill showed us something that we hadn't seen from him before. I mean, like Glover shot for 17 takedowns and only got 2. And even when Glover did get him to the ground, Hill was cool, composed, and found a way to get out of those situations. I mean, it was a masterclass performance by him.
Yeah. I would want to say Jamal Hill's head kicks were very, very, very adamant about this fight, where this fight went. Second round, third round, it was a very ugly fight altogether for Glover Teixeira. It's really sad, mainly for 2 reasons. One, I bet on Teixeira to win this fight, so that knocked out my
Bank
5 for
account
5. And second, yeah, it's hard to see a legend go down like that. He wanted to fight clearly. That's why he was so happy in the 5th round, being able to keep going. He almost got stopped by the doctor. It's sad to see him go out this way, but good for Jamal Hill.
There are very few graceful endings in the UFC.
Yeah, and that has been all the time we have for segment 2 of main show, but stick around because I got a little special segment that, hopefully entertains you. So please, stick around as Hitting the Field returns just after this break.
Cowboys versus Giants. Why? Because I am a New York Giants fan, and I want my first pick of the week to be my team. I see an upset for the New York Giants this Sunday. Bet your entire savings, and I'm telling you right now, they're gonna win. I don't care what you say. It's gonna happen.
I have to go with the Raiders, I think, for this one. I don't see them losing.
Welcome back. It is now time for our primetime picks of the week, the best segment. I'm currently doing awful, standing at 16-10, Oklahoma State and Texas. I'm going Texas 35-27.
All right, Jeff, don't tell me your winner, but who is going to the Super Bowl?
The New England Patriots.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my
God. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Oh
the NFL is gonna make it happen.
welcome back. And I'm not going to be giving the weather here. This is actually a little special segment I wanted to call the top 5 plays. You know what? Not even plays. Just top 5 sporting moments and sporting things that have happened throughout this past week and the week before, since we were off last week on the show. So getting right into it, I'm going to have my 5th moment of this being Kristen Scott, our very own, getting drafted. And, you know, I don't know if this is a spoiler or anything, but she was on earlier interviewing with our own Camden. So shout out her. 4 is Corey, Too Smooth, Marksman, with his big TKO knockout win. And he'll be on again. I'll be talking to him again about it. He handled him pretty easily. The 3rd play is, you know, shout out Jack with the Brock Purdy highlight. I know he's getting all happy, but George Kittle, I mean, that's tough from a tight end to make that play. And look at the little flex. He's all happy. He's excited. The 49ers are playing great. We're all happy to be watching them. And just a better angle on it, you know, draws out everybody with the Christian McCaffrey play fake and a little one-handed juggle, little snag. George Kittle playing like a great tight end. Number 2 is another play, and this is what I said earlier. Look at Mahomes. Off 1 foot, delivers a dime. Now, no, he only needs 1 foot to play good. You know, he rolled his ankle earlier. It don't matter. Look at this right here. Lifts the foot up. Boom. Perfect on it. He doesn't need to be healthy. He's still him. And, you know, we'll see how he plays throughout. Honorable mention is my boy, Joe Burr. Watch this. Highlights, swag, perfect, clean drip. The no look. I mean, America's going crazy for Joe Burrow right now. And if you would have seen this in the pregame, you would have probably thought that the Bengals would win. So, I mean, he was locked in. He was on. And our number 1 play, I hope Cameron is still here and Jack is still here too. It's Anthony Edwards. 2 posters in this game. 2. Now, this is the second one. This wasn't the first one. The first one is way better than this, which is crazy because this one is already insane. This one, a 2-handed poster. A 2-handed poster. Get me wrong, one's enough. 2. He absolutely baptizes the Rockets defender. I think is that Sengu? It is. It's ridiculous. Anthony Edwards is crazy. He's just a crazy dude. He's a crazy guy, and he's a crazy athlete. And I forgot who said it, but saying that he's not going to be an all-star is actually mind-boggling. So with that, this has been Hitting the Field, main show. And please join us next week because I have a few extra special things that I will be introducing to the show. So please join us again, and Hitting the Field is wrapped.
Things gon' change when I really hit the field. Undefeated champs, man, you know what's the deal. Tryna find a kid, I'm in the field doing drills. Boy, you just a sucker, you ain't never keep it real. 3 rings in my hand, I'm a warrior to the max. When I hang it up, they gon' have to give me plaques. Step up in the building and I only bring the facts. When I make a highlight, they gon' replay, run it back, okay? Always locked in, I don't got time